guys, hey, welcome back to The Difference Live for another week, but it's almost about to come to an end.
We're almost there.
We're almost there. Hey, this Sunday, May 31st, we're back.
Oh, I'm so excited.
Dude, it feels so good to say that. This Sunday, we are going to be back, and man, we can't wait to see you. We hope that you'll be there. I know that you might have a lot of questions about what this is going to look like, especially with the craziness that's been going on, and we want to let you know that this will look a little different. It's going to look a little different, but we're doing this to just take precautions to keep you safe, to keep us safe, and so that we're able to meet the next week. And so we just want to start off tonight by going over a little bit of what that will look like, give you an idea of what you can expect. But tonight we're just gonna have a little bit of fun. You know, I got Brent Worth here. If you don't know Brent, he's young adults director within The Difference, and he has been helping me out with all the videos. If you've been watching our videos, you've seen him do the intro and all kinds of stuff. And if you watched our blooper video, that was fun. that was really funny. So we're gonna talk a little bit too about things that we've learned over this quarantine time. We're going to look into the future. We're back on Wednesday nights on June 10th. And me, Brent, and Josh Michael have been able to prepare and plan for this coming summer and for the fall. And man, we have some awesome things in store that we're going to share with you guys tonight. And then we're also going to kind of talk about maybe some advice we would have for you guys moving forward. So it's going to be a good night. It's going to be a lot of fun. Hang in there with us. We're going to start off talking about the 31st. So the 31st is going to look a little different due to social distancing and everything that's been going on. We're taking some precautions to make sure that you're safe. And so the first thing we want you to know, and this is important, the first service is at 9 o'clock, not 9:15.
Don't forget to set your alarm.
Don't forget to set your alarm. 9 o'clock, not 9:15. So it'll be 9 o'clock and 10:45. And you want to know this too. There are no small groups on this Sunday. Okay, small groups will start back on June 7th. They will not meet this week. Okay, so you're coming to the service and the service only. It'll be at 9 o'clock and 10:45. 9 o'clock, 10:45, only to the service, no small groups. Okay, so you guys aren't stuck with seeing this guy or stuck with seeing me. We all know you want to see Kenzie, so it's just
some of you guys are probably applauding.
Yeah, you're probably getting really excited because you don't have to come sit in a small group with us, but that's okay. We don't take it personally, but we would like for you to come say hey to us in the service.
Yes, please do.
We really would, because we have really missed you guys.
Look, this building being empty is
it's
depressing.
Yeah,
honestly.
So we're excited to have you back. We want you to come say hey to us. We want to see you. We want to talk about everything that's been going on in your life. We want to catch up. But there's some things you need to know. I know that me and Brent are ready to give you guys some big hugs. We've really missed you. But we're going to have to ask this week, no hugs. We're not really going to do handshakes either. Not really high fives. We're going to stick to a simple fist bump or an elbow tap. We're going to keep it simple. And it's not because we don't love you guys or we don't want to give you a hug or we don't want to dap you up or we don't want to shake your hand, but it's because we are being precautious this week.
Look,
so
that's going to be tough for me.
Precautious?
I'm a hugger.
Is that even precautious? We're taking precautions.
We're
being cautious. There we go. Let me see what else we got here. We're going to ask that you do this as well. If you don't feel well, if you're feeling sick or you're feeling under the weather, you just stay at home. We're going to be having our live streaming services still available to you. So if you're not feeling well this week, stay at home. If you are feeling well, we want you to come. Don't miss out, because we have really missed community and fellowship with you guys. And so we're really ready to see you. So please be here if you're feeling well. If you're not, stay at home, get better, come next week. Because next week's going to be amazing. Just as awesome. It's going to be incredible. Sunday. Celebration Sunday, June 7th. You're not going to want to miss that one either. We'll talk about that a little bit next week. But this week, if you're not feeling well, make sure that you stay at home. Check out our live stream. If you're feeling well, be here with us. And we will have masks available to you. Now, we're not requiring that everyone wear a mask, but we will have them available.
And that's upon request only.
Yes, you need to make sure that you ask one of our greeters. Ask them if you could get a mask if you would like one, and they'll make sure that you get one. We will be practicing social distancing, and so you will see signs. Everything will be laid out for you. We will have. We will make sure that you are seated, 6 feet apart from everyone else, and that you are in a safe area, I guess is a good way to put it. And so we are making sure that that is taken care of. We'll even have things where, lines may get backed up, stickers on the floor, different things like that, so that you're able to know how far you need to stay away to keep that 6 feet social distancing. Let's see. Okay, this is the last thing. We're going to ask this week, we usually sit together. That's one of my favorite things about Sundays is we get to sit together. This week we're going to ask that you sit with your families. Sit with your families. Be with them this week due to having to sit socially distanced.
Yeah.
That's a good word. Good way to put it. Since we're having to sit socially distanced, that's a mouthful though.
It is.
We're going to ask that you sit with your families. Now I know that some of you might be listening to this and you're like, well, I don't really have a family that comes with me to church at Marcus Point. And if you don't, that's okay. Kenzie and I would love to sit with you. Brent would love to sit with you.
I'll be your family.
Come find one of us and just say, hey, I'm here. I don't have anyone to sit with. Can I sit with you? And we would love for you to sit with us. Brent.
What?
They really want to sit with Mackenzie. That's who they really want to sit with. So, maybe me and Brent just need to sit together and everybody else can sit with Mackenzie.
That's an idea right there. That's an idea.
There we go. Make sure that you're here this week, 9 a.m., 10:45. It's going to be good. We're taking precautions to make sure that you're safe. Everything's going to be taken care of for you. We're just asking that you show up. And obviously, if you are at risk, stay at home. If you're at risk, stay at home. We understand. And we'll see you hopefully the next week. But if you're able to come, if you're feeling well, if you're not at risk, and if you're healthy and ready to go, we're asking that you show up this week, 9 a.m.
Our top priority is your safety.
10:45. That's right. We want to keep you safe, and we also want to help you grow in your relationship with God, and we are working on doing both of those things
at the same time.
That's right. So, this quarantine time has been crazy, and we're thankful that it's coming to an end. But through this quarantine time, I've learned some things. Have you learned some things?
Oh, definitely.
So Brent, what are some things that you would say you've learned throughout this quarantine time? Because looking back, there's a lot of things that I can think of that, man, God just really taught me some things. But maybe what's one thing that God's kind of taught you?
Two things. First thing, doesn't matter how fast the world's going around you or how slow it is. If you're not listening, you're not going to learn anything.
That's good.
Look, the world has almost stopped.
Yeah.
And we did it almost overnight. I mean, really, this quarantine hit and it was toast. Everything was done. But, for the outside world, we've been pretty busy over here.
Yeah.
That'll be the second thing I'll talk about. But the first thing, look, God teaches in the chaos the most. So keeping your ears open. I've thought this quarantine is going to slow my world down, slow my roll. That's the second thing. Ministry never stops. If anything,
that's true.
If anything,
that's true.
Jacob can testify to this.
That's true.
His ministry went tenfold on what we had to do to keep in contact with everybody, to make sure everybody was doing okay, and to reach a lost world that you can't even talk to. I mean, face to face.
Really.
So, those are a couple things that I've learned. What have you learned?
And that's a good thing. That's a good thing for you guys. When you hear ministry never stops, a lot of you think, well, you guys work at a church. But really, it doesn't stop for you either. You still have a mission. We still have a mission. Every one of us still has a mission to reach the lost. And it doesn't stop. Just because the world is chaotic, because of singing a song over here, just because the world is chaotic or just because the world slows down an extreme amount does not mean that our mission stops,
Never stops.
So that's one thing that I've learned as well. Man, I think that God has just been teaching me that it's important always to keep the main thing the main thing. And it's so easy to, in our world today, with all of the, the social media, the digital age, the technology, with all of the fast pace, society, with all the distractions, it's so easy to make the main thing something else besides Jesus. And I think that he's really been showing me that, even when life does pick back up and we're rolling really fast, and when we're, headed 100 miles an hour in life, that I need to keep Jesus as the main thing. I need to keep him on the throne of my life that he deserves to be. And it's so easy to put something else on the throne. And so I think it's an intentionality. I've had to learn it's intentionally placing God on the throne of my life each and every day and saying, Jesus, you're number one in my life today. It's an everyday choice I've had to learn. And so through this quarantine time, because I noticed, as I got, staying at home more, it was easier to back off. It was easier to be like, oh, well, I'll do that later.
Yeah.
And, the opposite's true too. When the world gets going super fast, it's so easy to put it off as well. And so really, God was just kind of like, and maybe for a lot of you who's like, well, I'm just going to call your bluff. You say that if you weren't busy, you would get in my word. Okay, well, I'm going to make you not busy. Oh, you're still not getting in my word. Okay. And so I think that really God showed me that it's important to keep him as the main thing, keep our eyes on him no matter what's going on around us. And so that was really something that he taught me that's really important. And so man, God's been teaching me a lot. But with that, we have some pretty awesome sermon series coming up.
I'm so excited, legitimately excited about this new series called Copy Clout.
Yeah, it's going to be good.
Joke.
It's going to be good.
It's going to be amazing.
I'm pumped for it. But
I got a question for you because God's called me to ministry. I want to be a pastor one day. He's told me it'll happen eventually. And I kind of want to learn a little something. And maybe you can help these guys out because we've got some stuff coming up, and these series are really cool. You've not just gone over Copy Clout with me, but a couple other series. Mm-hmm. So what are these other series that you're coming up with?
Yeah, so we're going to be, if you haven't heard, we've got a brand new series starting on June 10th. When we come back, we're kicking it off. It's called Copy Clout. And basically the premise for this is that everybody is copying everybody because they want to be somebody, right? If you go to social media and you go look at the famous people on social media, all of their pages basically look the same. Like it's interesting. Like you have to fit a certain criteria and do a certain thing in order to be famous in today's world, right? And it has caused a lot of conformity. It's caused a lot of similarity. It's caused a lot of sameness. There's not a whole lot of people out there that are just truly different. Like they're just truly themselves. And I think that God has called you, and he's called me, and he's called Brent to a specific purpose for a unique reason, for a unique time, in a unique way, right? I mean, he has called us to be unique. He has created us the way we are. I'm not like you. You're not like me. And it's not because you're any less than me or I'm any less than you, but it's because we have a specific purpose that's unique to who we are. So I think the same is true for you as well. And I think that God has a specific people that he wants you to reach, and a unique purpose that I can't accomplish, that Brent can accomplish, but only you can accomplish because you are who you are. And so I think a lot of us are missing out on what God has for us because we're trying to be someone else. And so we're going to be talking about Copy Clout. Dude, I'm actually going to, on my personal Instagram page, I'm going to be, this next week, going over and giving you a sneak peek into every single one of the messages that goes along with this. So it's gonna be exciting. I'm gonna share a little bit about where we're gonna go. Just kind of give you a little sneak peek at what's coming when we get back. And so I'd encourage you to check that out. Here we go, talking about Copy Clout, and I'm plugging my Instagram. Hey, follow. No,
right.
That's not why I did, but
subscribe.
Yeah. So
thumbs up.
So Copy Clout's coming. Next, after that, we have a series called Vibes. It's gonna be good because we're gonna answer the question: what role do emotions play in our faith? Right? Are emotions bad for our faith? Are emotions good for our faith? We're going to maybe even talk about some specific emotions and what role they should play in our life.
So teach me one other thing. Let me in on a little secret, a little pastoral secret. How do you come up with these series?
Oh, that's a good question. So first of all, and you know this, we've talked about this a lot. All of my messages come straight from the Bible. We're gonna teach the Bible no matter what. I'm never gonna get up there and share anything other than God's word and His truth. That's the most important thing that we'll always do, and I'll always make sure we do. So I start off in the text in His word, but what's been happening recently, and this isn't always the case, but over the past 6 months, it's been the case for our ministry. God's really taken me through certain situations, and He's driven me to specific text and taught me specific things through certain seasons of my life. And then as I've gotten on the other side of it, He's then pressed upon my heart to share it with our group. So it's I've learned, and then I'm helping others learn. It's been interesting. Our relationship series that we did not that long ago, Kenzie and I had actually just been through a really rough time. Not between me and her necessarily, but we had a lot of external factors that were pressing in on us. We both kind of just felt like we had been sucker punched over and over and over by a lot of different things. There wasn't just one thing that contributed to it. It was just life. Life had just, you guys know that it doesn't take much for you to be like, whoa, what's going on, And we were kind of in that situation. We were newly married. We just moved to a new state, a new people, a new church. And so we were going through a lot. And God really taught me a lot through that season. Kenzie and I really just had to choose each other each and every day. And as we went through that, God really taught me a lot about relationships. He drove me to His Word, and I learned a lot about that. So I got to share about that with you guys. Copy Clout. When I was here after 3 months, I felt like my messages on Wednesday nights really were sucking. Don't know if I'm allowed to say that.
Well,
I'm sorry if anybody doesn't like that. But they were terrible. I felt like I was just, I don't know, it just wasn't very good.
You were in a rut.
And I was kind of in a rut. And I called a good friend of mine. If you watched the podcast this past Thursday, or listened to the podcast this past Thursday. A buddy of mine, Jack Stark, he's a pastor in Texas, and he's actually has a podcast of his own called Buried Topics. He joined us. I actually gave him a call when I was going through this rut, and I was like, dude, I'm struggling. It's horrible. And he just kind of was talking me through it. We were talking through it, and ultimately we realized I was trying to be something that I wasn't meant to be. I was trying to be a Judah Smith. I was trying to be a Levi Lusko. I was trying to be a Rich Wilkerson Jr. I was trying to be all these guys. And really God was saying, no, I've created you to be Jacob. I haven't created you to be anyone else. And you're missing out on what I have for you. Your ministry is missing out because you're trying to be someone else. And so I learned a lot about being who I am and my identity through that. And so that's where the Copy Clout series came from. And then the Vibe series actually came from when we went to Passion. We had a lot of conversations afterwards about, conference highs and different things like that. And so it led us into a conversation about emotions. And we had a lot of conversations about that. We studied a lot. And God really taught me a lot about that as well. So we're going to be talking about that in our Vibe series. So it's really been, God has taken me through certain situations in life. He's driven me to His Word, taught me in those seasons, and then I've turned around and shared. So that's really kind of been how.
It's funny that you mentioned a single name in there because, or one name in particular, because probably not a lot of people know this, but the whole first month that Jacob was here in Pensacola, his nickname for me was Judah Smith. Do you remember that? Do you remember
funny.
that?
Yes, I do. Yes, I do. That is funny. Yeah. So it was just. It's really hard in today's society when you're looking at all these things, not to try and want to be that.
Yeah.
And so it was a struggle for me. And
everybody wants to be somebody.
So that's the thing about, everybody, when you hear my messages, they're not me pounding on something that I've never been through.
Right.
It's usually me going, I've struggled with this. I've gone through this. I've been through this trial, and God has seen me through it. And let me share with you what He's taught me. So that's usually what it is. And so I'm really excited for these upcoming messages. It's going to be good.
Awesome.
And so there's a lot of you listening that you're probably fixing to head back into the routine of things, if you haven't already. And, so Brent and I want to share with you, a little advice on getting back into the swing of things. And a lot of it's based off of what we've learned through this time. But as we get ready to I feel like we're kind of getting back up to the starting line of a race, and we're just waiting for that gun to fire off so we can go.
That's good.
That's how I feel like we're at that waiting period, ready to go. And, like I said, a lot of you may be already back in the swing of things, but a lot of us are getting ready to. And so, Brent, what would be some advice you would have to our college students, to our young adults who are maybe getting ready to, and they're gearing up to get back in?
Well, we had talked about the questions we were going to talk about in the video before this, and I had a great answer for that. And as we're sitting here talking about stuff, so many things popped in my head. But really, over about a month ago, you asked me to preach or to teach one Wednesday night. We haven't got to do that because of the COVID.
But we are.
Thing. But we are.
We have a date. We have a date for him and Josh. July 8th. So make sure that you go out of town that week. And no, I'm just kidding. I'm kidding.
After I'm about to say something.
Oh, you were about to say something good about me? Yeah. I take it back. I take it back.
So we're sitting in this room actually, and we're having our meeting that we were having every Thursday to plan stuff out. And I said something along the lines of, I mean, I'll do it, but I don't really feel qualified to do that. And I've heard this before, but after you said it, it kind of sank in. And that's God doesn't call the qualified; He qualifies the called. As you were saying that, we don't. And me especially, I don't really teach anything that I haven't been through. That's my uniqueness, is what I've been through, what God's brought me through, because He's brought me to those situations and then taken me through it. And the way He takes you through it is by getting in His Word, praying to Him. So as everything gets back going to where it's supposed to be, or what our new normal is, remember that another thing, shout out to Pastor Godfrey, has taught me is that growth and your walk with Jesus comes through adversity. The biggest things that God has ever taught me have been where I'm on my knees searching His Word, because I don't know how many more steps I can take. So these things that we teach don't come from just our experiences and we're just saying, hey, I've been through this, but God has brought me through this. The only reason I'm here is because of Him. So open your ears, open your heart, listen, read His Word, pray.
And be obedient. I mean, even if you feel like, man, I can't do this, He can. He can do it through you. And if I could give you a piece of advice, this is something God's been teaching me over the longest while. And if you've been around me for any time for the past 6 months, you probably heard me say this. But stop rushing through life. There's so many of you that are so focused on what's next that I believe you're missing out on what God has for you now. And here's the thing. The greatest days of your life are going to be the days that you're in. And here's what I mean. 8 to 10 years from now might be better circumstantially for me. I might be in a different position. I might be in a different place. I might be in Kinsey and I, our family might look a little different. All these things might look different, and you would say life is better. We'll have grown up. We'll have, we'll be more mature. We might say life is better, but really the truth is the best life is the life that I'm in. If you can learn to enjoy the life that you're in, instead of trying to go to what's next, then you're going to learn, I think, the key to happiness in a sense, and we talk about the word happiness, in a circumstantial light, but you're going to learn, I guess the word for it is not happiness, but contentment.
Yeah.
You're going to learn how to, in life, truly live life. Because think about it, if you're always worried about what's next, are you really living the life that you're in?
Nope.
No. So if we look at life and we say, hey, the greatest days of my life, or let's do this, the greatest day of my life is today. The greatest day of my life is today, and I'm going to give it everything I've got. Then I promise you'll look at your life and you'll be like, man, I really lived my life. But when I'm like, hey, I'm so ready for in 2 years when I get my promotion, or I'm so ready in 5 years when I get married, and I'm so ready in 10 years when I have these kids, and you're going to wish your life away. And I think that God has something for you right now. He wants to use you right now, today. Even in this moment, He wants to use you. And so I think that there's too many people out there that are wishing their life away. They get to the end of their life and they look back and they're like, man, I wish I could go back. It's like, well, it's too late then. Live in the day that God has given you. That doesn't mean you don't plan and prepare for the future. We have. We've spent a lot of time planning and preparing for the future, but we want to be faithful with what God's given us today. So I want to encourage you, don't waste your life away. Don't rush your life away. Live in what God has given you now. Be faithful to what He's given you now. And I promise that as you go through your days, you'll look back and you'll be like, man, I lived life to the fullest. So we love you guys. We really do. And if you ever need anything, let us know. You can email us. The email is college@marcuspointbaptist.org. You like the new email right there? College@marcuspoint. Yeah, so college@marcuspointbaptist.org. You can email us. We would love to hear from you. Even if you have good feedback and you say, hey, I really liked listening to them, we'd love to hear from you. You can put a comment. Let us know that you put a comment in this video. Let us know that you tuned in tonight. We would love to hear from you. We would love to interact with you. And we're ready to see you on Sunday.
So ready.
So ready. Don't let us down. Be there on Sunday. We're looking forward to seeing you. And I want to make sure I say this too. There is no Wednesday night next week. Okay? No Wednesday night. We're not back until June 10th.
June 10th.
So no Wednesday night next week. We will be right back here, The Difference Live, and we're going to bring Mackenzie on here for the final one.
It's going to be good.
It's going to be good. We're excited. But until then, we'll see you Sunday.